Happy Sunday and welcome to Dear Black Girl, Season 3, Episode 4. I have a question for you. Have you ever been bullied? I wonder if you ever have been a bully. Today we are talking about the negative effects that bullying is having on the mental health of girls specifically. In my generation, bullying has grown from the playgrounds and classrooms into cyberbullying, which gives bullies 24 hours access to the people they harass. Such a heavy topic, and we hope you will watch today's show. Then continue these conversations with your friends and family members. If you are being bullied, we want you to know that it's not your fault and you're not alone. Now let's welcome Cordelia A. Benny, the founder of Dear Black Girl.
That was such a great introduction, Brielle. Thank you so much. Welcome, friends. Happy Sunday. Before we get started, as you know, every Sunday we ask you to please share this broadcast. If you are watching right now on Facebook or YouTube, please share this broadcast. If you are on YouTube, we're also asking that you would subscribe to the Daughters and Vessels YouTube channel so that you know when we go live and when we post content from the girls. Our hope is that this conversation will equip you to continue or begin the conversations in your own homes about the detrimental effects of bullying and its impact on our well-being. As adults, we often equate bullying with school grounds, but for many young girls, bullying starts right in their home. Some of our first bullies were people that we loved and honored and cherished, parents and siblings. And so we want you to think about this bullying situation on a broader scale and find yourself in the conversation. I was sharing with the girls yesterday, we had a wonderful conversation. We talked for about an hour and a half, all of us, just about our experiences with bullying. And I was sharing with the girls how easy it is for a person who is bullied to then become a bully. And I shared with them in my own life how I experienced bullying when I was younger. And then in middle school and high school, I almost sort of became this mean girl because it was take the attention off of myself so that it's not happening to me. But it's not any better when you're allowing it to happen to someone else. And so we want you to find yourself in these conversations. The girls are ready. They're ready to chat with you. Please share this. You don't know who in your community it will bless. And we know that it certainly will bless someone today. Harassment has moved on from just the schoolhouse and the playground to cyberbullying and digital harassment. And now bullies have access to their victims 24/7. And so how dangerous and how much of an impact is that having on specifically Black and brown girls? And there's so much research. There's so many studies. I have quotes for days. I'd love to send it to you. If you're interested, reach out to us and we will send you so many statistics so that you know what's happening to our girls, to our children, but specifically to our girls. To lead our first segment today, I'm going to bring out Carlene and Audrey, and they are going to talk with Mrs. Mikila Thompson, and then we're going to get right into the show. It's going to be a great one. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful week. Go, girls.
Today, Carlene and I are chatting with Miss Mikila Thompson. Ms. Thompson is an attorney who represents children and family and education law. She is a professor of law at CUNY Law School and supports various nonprofits on matters related to domestic violence and assault. A quiet activist, Ms. Thompson's desire is to help any youth understand they have a power inside of them that they should use to live their purpose and be a light to others. Welcome to the show, Ms. Thompson. Can you explain how bullying is defined in the legal space?
Thank you guys for having me. And absolutely. So bullying as a term is not really used in the legal space as much. Usually you hear things like harassment or, stalking or assault if it's physical, but not necessarily the word bullying. And so it really depends on what exactly is happening to a person, where they would talk about it from a legal perspective.
How does the law work to protect young people who are being bullied? Are there any gaps where the law has not caught up with technology?
Those are both great questions. So, as far as how children can be protected, it really first depends on where they are being bullied and what way they're being bullied. So, if they are being bullied in school, then the school would be the place that would handle it. And you would go to your teacher or the principal after you've talked to your parents and let them know what's happening. And then they can help figure out how to protect you and, maybe help the bully change their behavior. New York State has laws related to school bullying or a law called the Dignity for All Students Act. And that act talks about how students can be protected against bullying by their friends and peers in school. And they also added an act in 2019 regarding how to respect people based on their hair. And so that act is called the Crown Act. And it's about creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. And so children can't be discriminated against or bullied for how their hairstyle is and different textures, which is great because that means that girls like us are able to express ourselves and not be treated badly for it.
Yes. So, when should young people or adults seek legal support if they are being bullied physically or digitally harassed?
So physically, if it's in the school, the child should tell their parents right away. And then they should also have their parents talk to the teacher. And if the teacher doesn't respond, they should go to the principal. And if the principal doesn't respond, they should go to the superintendent. If no one else responds at all, they should definitely go to the police. What you don't want to happen is children just say nothing and continually be abused, especially physically. If it's online and it's through someone with school, they still should say something to the school as well as their parents and if necessary the police. But first, we should see if we can help the bully stop their behavior. Oftentimes, bullies behave based on their own hurt and their own, issues. And so, if we can figure out a way to stop the bullying from the beginning and from the inside, we can help stop bullying through adults as well.
Yes. What language should family use when reporting bullying to schools, law enforcement, or legal?
This is a great question because a lot of times when we are telling law enforcement, the police about issues of bullying or harassment, we don't use the right language. And so the main language you want to use is you want to say things about one, how you are being impacted or harmed. So say, this is happening and I am afraid. I am scared. I fear that someone's going to hurt me. Those are trigger words that will tell a person or the police especially that they need to act and they need to ask more questions. But if you don't say those things, the police may not take you seriously. So you have to make sure you are very clear about what is happening and how it hurts you.
Um, so, is the responsibility in cyberbullying situations on the platform to rectify or on law enforcement?
So you had a great question before, and this is also a good question. Unfortunately, cyberbullying is not as enforced as it should be yet. There are some laws under the federal government, which is all of the United States, and there are laws throughout every state related to cyberbullying, but you have to be really specific when you talk to law enforcement about what's happening, because if you don't, they won't be able to help you. The laws have not quite caught up with technology. And what that means is people are able to harass people online And if they aren't made known, then the police and lawyers can't really figure out how to stop it. For example, if a person sets up a social media page and they harass someone, but they make their page so that no one can know who they are, even if it's shut down by the social media site, they can just start another one. And so what has to happen is we have to do our best to get as much information, and bring it to the police as quickly as possible to see if there's other ways to get the identity of the person, because that's really the only way you can stop it.
Yeah, because in our society, seems to be subjective. So, how can we advocate for ourselves and the ones we love when others don't consider it harassment?
That is such a good question. And you're absolutely right that abuse is a very subjective thing because it's how we feel and how we're impacted. And so, the best way that you can work and combat or deal with that idea that, you're being abused, whether physically or through the internet, is be very clear about what's happening. Document it, write it down, and then also write down the dates that things are happening to you, and also what is happening, so that you can bring it to the attention of your parents and all the other people who can help you. Also, make sure that you keep any pages. If it's cyberbullying, don't delete the page, don't get rid of the account, because that's the only way law enforcement can figure out how to stop it. If you delete it, then that person may find another way to get to you, and then you have to start all over again. So be very clear about what's happening and make sure you help create like a timeline, like a story of what's happening day to day. These are great questions.
What are young people and parents supposed to do actionably protect themselves?
So I think the main thing when it comes to cyberbullying, especially, and cyber stalking, anything online, first and foremost, make sure that parents need to make sure they know exactly what type of accounts their children have. And so whatever social media site they have access to, make sure you check their phones and their tablets and their computers to know exactly what accounts they have. Once you find out the accounts that they have, or you help them set up the account, make the account private. Don't allow it to be public to everyone. So that way you can monitor it. Also, sit down with your child and teach them how to post and what to post so that they know how to manage through the account. Don't take pictures in your home or anywhere that a person can know exactly where you are. And never, never, ever post and say where you are. So turn off all location devices or any location parts to your social media pages so that people don't follow you and figure out your routine and figure out where you are. There are a lot of people in the world that are dangerous, and it's important that we protect ourselves and help our parents protect them as well.
Thank you so much. How important is capturing bullying on camera or online? What's the best way to do this?
So to capture bullying on camera, it really depends on what type of bullying it is. So if it's physical, like someone is actually hurting you physically in your same space, then having a video or a camera version of it is important, because that is the way to capture the information. If it is cyberbullying, taking a picture or a screenshot's not necessarily going to help you if you need it for law enforcement, but it would help you create like a timeline. In order to protect or keep the information through a cyberbullying situation, you want to keep the account current, and you want to make sure that it still is accessible so that you can provide that information to whether it's a school or law enforcement or whoever is supposed to help you stop the bullying from happening.
So, I just wanted to say thank you so much for staying in contact with us. How can our viewers at Dear Black Girl stay connected to you?
Thank you. I really enjoyed this and I hope it was helpful. I can be reached through Instagram at MIKILAJ, which is my first name and my middle initial. And then on LinkedIn through Mikila Thompson, which is my first and last name. That would be the easiest way. I use LinkedIn more than anything. I really appreciated this, and I hope that you girls know that you have the support. Use your parents and always communicate with the people you trust to keep you safe.
In our second segment, we are
Great job, ladies. In our second segment, we're chatting with soon-to-be Dr. Tynisa Martin.
Miss Martin is an innovator in the realm of education. She is a special education teacher as well as a teacher leader who mentors and coaches aspiring teachers.
Miss Martin is currently pursuing a PhD in special education and holds a master's in education and bachelor's of art in education. Miss Martin has worked in various capacities to ensure equity and access to ensure to both students and staff across New York City public schools.
Welcome to the show, Miss Martin.
Hello, ladies. Thank you so much for that warm welcome.
How has bullying changed the culture of school now that cyberbullying and digital abuse is at an all-time high?
So bullying has really increased because every social media is at our fingertips. Social media is at the basis of everything we're doing. Students are doing. They have technology. Many students, everyone was pretty much on remote learning. So they have iPads. They have iPads. They have laptops. They have cell phones. Everything always just everything's old watches. And so it has really changed because now there are so many social media platforms for bullies to hide on, for people to just interact with other people, and for people to just misuse social media. It's meant for positive ways, but they're really using it in rather negative ways.
Agree a lot.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
What roles should educators play to reduce bullying while students are at school? Should they play any roles outside of school?
So educators are so important. If you think about it, you're at school a lot of hours out of the day. School may start at 8:20 a.m. So you're with your teachers and those educators in your school from 8 a.m. all the way to maybe 4 p.m. if you do after school activities. So educators play a crucial role. If educators see something, they definitely have to take a stand and stop it right away. Stomp it out immediately. You definitely, as an educator, have to say something, because if you don't say something, if you don't speak up, it'll continue. You have to let it be known immediately that that behavior is not welcome. That behavior is not something that we want in our school community, in our after school environment, in our communities in general.
Agree a lot. How can students who fear the backlash of snitching handle bullying while at school?
So this is a big thing, because I'm a middle school teacher, so I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Now I've heard, oh no, snitching, no, absolutely not. I think it's important to create a community, a culture where students feel empowered to speak up and speak out against things that are not right, but that they feel comfortable enough with the adults and those educators, those teachers in their building, where they can have those circles where they talk, they chat, they have those advisory sessions where you feel comfortable to come to Ms. Martin and let me know what's happening, and you don't feel like there's going to be backlash, there's going to be a problem. Really creating an environment and a culture and in a community sense where you're at school all the time for so many hours. It should be a warm, welcoming environment. So for students that fear that backlash, then that's telling me that that community, that family environment is not there. So So there's a need for schools and educators and teachers to make sure that they create that family environment for their students so that they're not fearful to speak out against things like bullying that may occur.
I'm in middle school and I definitely agree with that. What signs should educators be aware of when supporting a student they believe is being bullied?
So I think definitely, so you have to know your students. Like I know my students. Like last year was really difficult because we were on the computer. So it's hard to really get to know someone through the computer. But now most schools, a lot of people are back in person. So I check in with my students every morning. We do social emotional learning check-ins. So I just find out what's going on, how you feeling. So I know you get to know their demeanor. You get to know, give me a smile, and you find out so I'll notice if somebody comes in a little sluggish, I'll know something's wrong, something's off. Also, it's really important for there to be checks in between the day because some people are not morning people, but you gotta get enthusiastic. You have to get excited for the day. So definitely inserting social emotional SEL check-ins throughout the day where students can come in and just have a check-in. So they can check in on a mood meter where, for an example, like one of the things I do with my students is at 11:26 every day, they come back to my homeroom and we just check in the middle of the day. We have a snack. They check in on the mood meter. I have funny SpongeBob emojis up and some of them do crazy faces, but they'll let me know I'll say Mikila, where are you checking in on the mood meter? And if you're telling me you're a 1 and a 1 is sad, or I'll be able to check in and notice what's going on and be able to check in and talk to you about what's going on. So definitely being aware of your students, being knowledgeable about their daily interactions, so teachers and parents and other educators can look out for those signs throughout the day.
Of course. What advice do you have for educators who want to do more to support their students but do not feel the support of their administration?
There's a lot they can do. Educators are vital to the school community. Educators can start, like I mentioned, those advisory sessions. They can reach out to educator groups. There's so many different groups and organizations that discuss bullying. There's Facebook groups. There's so many in different areas and towns, depending on where a particular educator may live. There are so many resources that are available that they can definitely interact with. They should definitely reach out to their administration to ask them to engage in PDs. PDs are professional development. So those are trainings and sessions that will give them the tools that they need to be able to help their students, to be able to advocate, because maybe they want to help, but they just don't have the resources or tools, or maybe they don't know exactly how to begin the conversations or how to start those things. So definitely reaching out for professional developments and resources. They can call me. I have resources. Reaching out to people that know and that can spread knowledge.
I definitely agree.
Same.
What experiences are you witnessing students have in classrooms that parents should be aware of?
So definitely a lot with the cell phones, a lot with the Instagram and the TikTok. Now, I'm not opposed to those things, but we have to kind of flip it and make it positive and make them used for positive purposes, because parents should definitely look out for their child constantly addicted to it, on the screen, hello, am I talking to you, is anybody there? That's not healthy behavior. And definitely looking out for if they're hiding things that they're doing, they should definitely be trying to use the social media in a positive lens. So yeah, there's all of these TikTok challenges, but let's make some Stop Out Bullying TikTok challenges. Let's make some challenges that promote healthy awareness and excitement and engaging in fun things. Those are definitely, so parents and schools should definitely look out for children who, after you're on the social media, they're upset. You shouldn't be upset. You shouldn't be crying after coming off the computer. You shouldn't be. So all of those different things, changes in your mood, All of those different things are signs that parents could look out for.
What advice do you have for educators who witness a student being a bully? How should they manage that?
Definitely, they definitely have to stop it immediately. That is something that they should know, and students should know that's not tolerated in that classroom, in that space, in that school community. I'll take myself for an example. That's not something like as soon as, so I can't control what every single student does, but maybe when the school year starts and students, you get to know your teacher and you're like, oh, okay, I know that teacher, but they know like that's not something that's acceptable in my classroom, and that's not something that's acceptable even in our school community. So educators have to address it immediately, and not only addressing it and saying like that's wrong, but then now having sessions with your class, with their students, so classmates are able to interact in circle groups, which you could do restorative circles, where we're engaging in dialogue as a community as to why that behavior is wrong, why those things are not acceptable, and how that hurts our community and harms our community, and how that's not something that we want in our day-to-day lives, and that's not something that we want to be a part of.
Yeah, my mom actually can definitely relate. She's a high school math teacher, so she has to deal with some of that stuff.
Absolutely. Your mom, she knows.
Can you give us some final advice on how educators, parents, and students can work together to stomp out bullying?
So definitely, I am an advocate of, like I mentioned earlier, we're using social media, right? It's not going anywhere. It just there's new social media that, like right now we have the newest one, I guess, is TikTok, but there's going to be something else that comes out. But I think we need to flip the switch and create campaigns, create public service announcements and public service campaigns and challenges that stomp out bullying, that where you can do PSAs. A PSA is a public service announcement. So that's where you're telling an audience, a group, you may do it in 30 seconds, you may do it in 1 minute, why bullying is wrong, why that's something that we don't need to do. And I think that's something that we need to bring to the forefront. And that's something that we need to bring to the light of social media. Absolutely being positive, being energetic, and just promoting awareness of bullying and promoting awareness of how our lives are so positive without that, and the success that we can engage in as a school community, as students, as educators, and as a family unit.
Thank you, Ms. Martin, for sharing your valuable insights today. How can our viewers stay connected with you?
So viewers, thank you. First of all, I want to tell you ladies, thank you so much. You're doing an amazing job. Viewers can definitely stay connected with me through social media. So you can reach me at TJ Martin Vision. I also have my own tutoring company, which is T Martin Tutoring. So we do in-person and virtual tutoring services. So you can reach me at www.tmartintutoring.org. And you can, so either one of those, you can reach me there. And then T Martin Tutoring also has an Instagram, but which is at T Martin Tutoring. So you can reach me at any of those platforms. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing some of your faces again.
Do you offer any services that may be helpful for our students?
Yes, definitely. So my tutoring services, as I was mentioning, so you definitely, we do tutoring for grades kindergarten through 12th grade. We know the pandemic, it took a toll on education for everyone as a whole. So if you are in the New York City area, we do in-person tutoring services. If you're not, we offer virtual services as well for grades K through 12. So we're excited. All of my tutors are educators and certified teachers. So it's an exciting and enrichment experience that we have for all of our world changers that are with us in the sessions.
Thank you for telling us how to stay connected with you.
Thank you.
Now let's turn it over to Margelle and Morgan, who will lead our third and final segment.
Thanks so much, Mikila. To start our show, we have the pleasure of interviewing Miss Jade Pinkett. Jade is a professional dancer and model residing in the heart of LA. She performed at the White House Easter egg roll for the Obamas, the BET Awards, the Ellen Show, Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's, Kids' Choice Awards, LA Live Holiday Tree Lighting, and the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Jade has danced for artists such as Drake, Future, Mary J. Blige, Willow Smith, Ginuwine, and Marcus Houston, to name a few. Welcome to the show, Jade. Looking dazzling. Please share a little bit about your cyberbullying experience with us.
Of course. So my cyber experience was basically a girl, and she still cyberbullies me to this day. Going on all my social media platforms, tagging everybody, writing really mean, nasty comments, sending me the worst messages. My grandpa, who is deceased, was using, accounts using his name and just really tormenting me for the past 8 years. So that's my cyberbullying experience. And throughout that experience, it allowed me to really just build my character and know who I am and stand firm who I am, and not to allow, the outside voices that see you progressing and see you evolving and doing amazing things in life to bring you down and get you off your path.
That's such a long time to be cyberbullied by the same person. That must have been so stressful.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you what makes cyberbullying and harassment so dangerous, and how does it differ from traditional physical bullying?
So it's so dangerous because not only is it's more so mental. So, when your mental is off, everything in life just feels So that's cyberbullying, like bullying people, cyberbullying, because it's more so like a long term effect, and you're not literally in person or doing person, but this is more psychologically messing your mind, how you feel, mood swings, just how you feel about yourself. And so that's the difference between physical bullying, cyberbullying. And cyberbullying, it's a lot easier. Bullying you do a lot to protect yourself.
Okay. What were the feelings you experienced while enduring your cyberstalking experience, and how did you maintain your mental health?
So I went through a lot of emotions because, as you can just think of, like, you're going like, trying hard to bring you down, trying so hard to put negative thoughts in your mind can really take a toll on your mental health. And that's why in just standing firm to the world and who God intended you to be and your purpose in life. Because once you know your purpose, it's like what anybody could say about you, to belittle you, to make you feel like you're not anything, or it's all a lie. Because you're worth so much, and you know it. God knows it, and when you know that, like, who can somebody? So I had to go through most of that to know that, you know what, I'm important to the world. I'm important to the people that love me, that I admire. And when you think of that, you realize the bigger than bullying, who so much bigger than what you say about.
Yes, I agree with you. You just have to know who you are and like ignore what people are saying. Just try to believe in yourself and you'll get through it.
Exactly. You really decide if somebody's bullying you or not. Don't let it get to you. So you discovered that your cyberbully was actually a former friend.
Yeah.
How shocking was that, and how did that affect you?
It was very shocking, very hurtful, and with cyberbullying, the part about that is normally it is someone close to you or someone that you knowing your past foremost self through school, growing up. And so this was someone that I knew that I was really close to when I was about 11 years old. And it was my only friend, my best friend. We grew apart, we got older, and I guess over the years, felt like outcasts, which made her feel like, okay, well, if I can't be your friend, then I'm going to ruin your life. And that was like her mission on earth. Very important because this is someone that I love. I wanted that I took care of, I looked after. And so it showed me that no matter, when you're younger, you don't really see the signs because we're just all trying to have fun, like hang out and do girl things. And then you get older and you realize people are actually really struggling with things or, mentally going through personal life. There's so many things that people are going through every moment. And so I had to take that consideration to where I felt more compassion for her. Because I'm like, man, like, you're so hurt that you feel like you have to reach out for my life because you. And so I had to also take myself out of the feeling of, oh my gosh, you're doing this to me. Why are you doing this to me? Understand why she felt do it to me. No, I don't agree with it. It wasn't right. It's still not right. Still people trying to do that so that it doesn't affect me in the long run. I can release it and go because I know it has nothing to do with it.
That is so sad, and that actually isn't a good friend. Like, if you're hurting inside, or you shouldn't like try to take it out on your friend. If that happened to me, I would be really sad, but then I would also get the opportunity to know that she is a fake friend.
Yes.
So
and hopefully you would be able to recognize those feelings and separate yourself from this person. Everybody that we meet in our life is not meant to be in our life. And that's okay too. We can let people go without having, negative energy or feelings towards that person. It's just you know what works for you and what's good for your mental health. What feel good. They always say stay around people that make you feel good, that make you smile, make your heart smile. And I'm big on energy. So just from me to you guys as well, whenever you feel like someone's energy is off, it's for a reason. It's your body telling you and trying to know, like, oh, this person is not good for your soul. And that's okay too. But just recognizing that and standing in your power to not allow those people to interfere with just yourself and how you view the world, how you well.
my next question for you is, what advice would you give to young ladies being bullied by former friends?
My advice to people who are young individuals, as you guys yourself, I would just say reach out to your loved ones, to people that maybe older and have knowledge, so that they can help you through this. Because going through it alone it can become very depressing, dark at times because you don't know what to do. I should look for out to you to help you to advise, the right advice, positive advice, or even going to talk to a therapist. And you don't go to an actual person. It could be your mom, your dad, your sister, your bigger sister. I just say that because I know when they do that, sometimes we realize it. Well, like, is this true? And no, don't even say stuff. And sometimes you need another set of voice to let you know and confirm that no, you're not crazy. You're an amazing person, positive, because what they're saying is no. And sometimes you need that person to help you through those situations. In terms of the person bullying, I always tell people, tell them, when you say leave me alone, it's like you're putting first. I said leave me alone. Very direct, very clear. So if they don't leave you alone later, help when trying to do things legally, because then they ask you, Well, did you tell her to leave you alone? And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think to just say those simple words, leave me alone. If they cannot comply or continue to bother you, then you can to the police.
That makes so much sense. And that was such amazing advice. So, would you recommend that those being harassed confront their bullies? If so, what's the best way to do this?
I wouldn't say to confront them because sometimes that can escalate a situation that you already don't want to be in. I would just go if you're under the age, like between 9 and 15, or get younger before you, I would literally go to someone older to help you through those situations. Find out the best possible way to stop your bullying.
Yes, I actually agree with you, and I want to say thank you so much for sharing your personal story with us, Jade. And how can our viewers stay in contact with you?
Yes, your viewers can stay in contact with me at Chinky Little Thing. My name is Jade Pinkett, and you guys can follow me. I post inspirational posts to help uplift you guys. So if you guys need the extra like boost for the day in the morning, that's what I'm here for, to inspire you guys to be the best women in the world, to allow you guys to continue to evolve, guys, the inspiration.
We had some tech issues during our conversation with Jade, but to hear more of her story, please check out her segment on the Red Table Talk bullying episode. It's so worth the watch. Now please welcome Peyton, who will close out our show.
We have received a wealth of information today. We want to leave you with this. Bullying is never ever your fault. Sometimes while you're going through it, you have some immense sense of guilt or shame that keeps you from speaking out about it. The truth is, the moment you talk it out to someone who can help, your situation gets better. Your parents will never be mad at you about this. Your friends will not think that you are less than. Say something. Use your voice. Please find the courage to say something today. If you need someone to speak to immediately, please call 1-800-273-TALK. Let's all make an effort to be and do better. Let's take care of each other. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye!